If you're a hotel or restaurant owner, well, you know the drill. You're constantly juggling demanding customers, razor-thin margins, and that relentless pursuit
Yeah,
of something extra, right? That thing that elevates you beyond just serving a meal or offering a bed. You're aiming for something special, aren't you?
you really are.
Well, today we're tapping into some insider knowledge that might just help you get there.
That's right. And this deep dive is specifically for you, the dedicated professionals in the food and beverage industry. We've basically distilled the expertise of Maurice, who's a seasoned hospitality pro, loads of experience in F&B, to bring you really actionable insights.
Yeah,
Think of this as like a concentrated dose of what really moves the needle in this business.
exactly. Our mission today is pretty straightforward.
hmm
Unpack practical, real-world lessons that can, transform your operation and truly delight your guests. Maurice shared 7 key principles, and we're going to explore each one, give you concrete takeaways you can start thinking about, like immediately. So let's dive right into the first one. Building a strong corporate culture. Maurice believes this is the bedrock of success, maybe even more so than the ambiance or the menu itself.
Yeah, and what's particularly insightful in Maurice's view is that corporate culture isn't just some vague idea, it's an integrated force. It's really about how all the different parts of your operation work together, seamlessly.
Okay.
He emphasizes that a strong, well-defined culture actively aligns your front of house and back of house teams. This prevents those operational silos that can lead to inefficiencies and, well, ultimately ensures a more consistent and positive experience for your customers.
Right. Silos are killers.
Absolutely. Think about how much smoother service can be, for example, when there's a shared understanding and respect between the kitchen and the serving staff.
Totally. But the big question is, how do you actually cultivate this kind of strong corporate culture Maurice talks about?
Yeah.
He offers some really tangible starting points. One that stood out to me was the idea of conveying your values through symbols. He uses this compelling example, right? A restaurant intentionally chose a specific copper coffee pot for their morning service. It wasn't just about serving coffee. That particular object represented their dedication to luxury and the act of sharing, a communal moment.
That's a great example.
It really makes you think. What seemingly small, maybe even overlooked, elements in your place could subtly communicate your core values, both to your team and your guests.
That point about intentionality, as Maurice frames it, is just crucial. It's not enough to simply have nice decor or a well-designed menu. You need to consciously select elements that embody your brand's fundamental principles.
Right.
The copper coffee pot is a perfect example, functional but also deeply symbolic. And Maurice's second key to building this culture, recruiting culture ambassadors, is equally vital.
The people.
Exactly. He stresses hiring individuals who not only have the skills, but also naturally embrace and promote your establishment's values. It's about building a team where everyone gets and believes in the bigger picture, not just their individual tasks.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's move on to Maurice's second tip. Dare to take risks. Believe in your vision. Now, let's be real. The hospitality industry inherently involves risk. It's just part of the game.
Oh, for sure.
But Maurice makes a compelling argument that significant progress, those real leaps forward, often come from calculated risks. I mean, think about just opening a place in the first place. That's a major leap of faith, let alone deciding to expand or try a new concept.
Expanding on Maurice's point there, it's about the power of conviction driving those decisions. Taking risks, like buying another restaurant, launching a totally new dining concept, or making a bold menu change. It can feel incredibly daunting. But Maurice suggests that it's that fundamental belief in your vision that gives you the resilience to navigate the challenges, the setbacks that inevitably come with those risks.
And he gives some practical guidance on how to approach this, which I like. He advises not letting a lack of exhaustive expertise in every single area stop you. He believes passion and a willingness to learn can often be more potent than years of experience in some niche area. However, and this is important, he also points out the need for a plan B.
Always need a plan B.
Yeah, emphasizing the importance of relationships with potential investors or mentors who can offer support and strategic guidance, especially when you're, stepping into unfamiliar territory.
And Maurice shares a particularly illustrative case study here. This story of a restaurant duo who successfully got funding to buy an existing place.
Okay.
It wasn't just a whim, right? They had a meticulously prepared business plan, a clearly articulated vision, and crucially robust financial projections. They'd done their homework.
Due diligence.
Exactly. They showed investors their risk was well considered. It really underscores that taking a risk, in Maurice's view, isn't about being reckless. It's about being courageous, but also being thoroughly prepared.
Right, calculated risk. Okay, let's delve into Maurice's third crucial tip. Structured creativity. Discipline and imagination hand in hand. I find this one particularly interesting because, sometimes we think of creativity as this totally spontaneous, unstructured thing.
Like lightning striking.
Yeah. But Maurice argues that within a successful restaurant or hotel, creativity actually thrives when it's paired with structure.
Well, what's fascinating in Maurice's perspective is how he sees creativity extending far beyond just, like, new recipes. He views it more broadly, the entire guest experience, the operational processes underneath.
Interesting.
He rightly observes that while innovative food is a draw, it needs to be fundamentally aligned with your establishment's core identity and brand. You can't just throw out novelties for the sake of it. There needs to be a cohesive, creative vision.
Got it. So how do you practically achieve this balance Maurice advocates for? Structure and creativity. He suggests seeking inspiration from really diverse sources, not just the culinary world.
Yeah, like artists or musicians.
Exactly. Drawing ideas from them when conceptualizing new offerings or experiences. I think that's a really cool way to break out of the usual thinking. And then he strongly emphasizes collective brainstorming, actively involving your entire team.
Yeah, get everyone involved. And the tasty example Maurice provides perfectly illustrates this. The image he paints of a whole roasted chicken served on a copper plank.
Ah, yes.
It's not just about the chicken, right? It's the presentation, the shared experience it fosters, the visual impact. It becomes a memorable signature, something that leaves a lasting impression.
Definitely memorable.
It's a brilliant demonstration of structured creativity, a thoughtfully conceived idea, executed with a clear vision, resulting in something both innovative and reinforcing a sense of, like, conviviality.
This leads us really smoothly to Maurice's fourth key tip. Train and promote, invest in your team. This might seem obvious, but it's amazing how often its importance gets, well, underestimated.
It really does.
Maurice is unequivocal.
Yeah.
Your success is intrinsically linked to your staff's quality, and investing in their development is directly investing in your business's future.
And Maurice astutely connects team quality to several critical outcomes. He argues a well-trained staff isn't just more competent and efficient, which they are, but they also show greater confidence and motivation.
Right.
And his emphasis on internal promotion is so vital for loyalty. When employees see clear growth paths within your organization, they're far more likely to be invested in its success. Think about the reduced recruitment costs alone.
That's a huge point. So what are some concrete ways to implement this? Training and promotion. Maurice suggests organizing comprehensive training. He specifically mentions educating servers on wine list nuances, menu details.
The details matter.
Exactly. Empowering them with knowledge and confidence. And then he makes this really powerful point about trusting potential. Even if someone's experience isn't perfectly traditional, he argues promoting individuals who deeply embody your values can often yield greater long-term benefits than just hiring externally based on a resume.
And the striking example Maurice shares, that waiter promoted to general manager, really brings this to life. Here was someone maybe without the conventional management background,
Right.
but he profoundly understood and was committed to the restaurant's ethos. And, as Maurice notes, he excelled in that leadership role. It underscores that sometimes innate talent and cultural fit are even more valuable than years with a specific title.
That's a fantastic story. Okay, let's move on to Maurice's fifth essential tip. Leadership humility. Recognizing and correcting mistakes. This is really critical because, let's face it, nobody's perfect.
Nope.
Even the best leaders will make missteps. Maurice emphasizes that openly acknowledging these mistakes isn't weakness. It's actually a demonstration of strength.
What's so important about Maurice's perspective here is how leadership humility impacts the whole team dynamic. He argues that when leaders own their mistakes, it sets a powerful precedent. It cultivates transparency, trust, and ultimately fosters greater team confidence. Plus, as Maurice rightly points out, it can actually speed up problem solving because people feel safer acknowledging issues without fear of blame.
That makes sense. So how can leaders actively cultivate this humility? Maurice suggests proactively creating spaces for feedback, genuinely asking for employee input.
Not just an open-door policy, but actively seeking it out.
Exactly. Being receptive to constructive criticism.
Right.
And he also makes a practical suggestion. Don't be afraid to delegate. If you're overwhelmed, bringing in more managerial support can be a sign of self-awareness, actually.
That's smart leadership. The inspiring story Maurice shares about a leader openly admitting errors during a big managerial crisis is incredibly impactful.
Yeah.
That act of vulnerability, asking for understanding, even forgiveness from the team, it actually strengthened the bonds and allowed them to collectively move forward. It's a powerful reminder that leadership isn't about being infallible. It's about being human and fostering resilience.
Wow. Okay, Maurice's sixth tip brings us to a delicate but crucial balancing act. Innovate while preserving your foundations. In this dynamic industry, constant evolution is often necessary, right?
Definitely.
But Maurice cautions against alienating your loyal customers in the rush for novelty. He reminds us those regulars are the bedrock of sustained success.
Maurice really hits on a fundamental tension here. Innovation is essential to stay relevant, attract new people, but you absolutely cannot afford to neglect those who already value what you do.
True.
He frames it perfectly. Strategically innovating while nurturing existing loyalty is key for sustainable growth, finding that sweet spot where you evolve without abandoning your core appeal.
So how do you navigate this tightrope walk Maurice describes? He suggests offering complementary services. His example, an upscale restaurant launching a more casual, accessible offshoot. That's brilliant.
It really is.
It lets them cater to a broader range, potentially attracting new people while giving regulars another way to enjoy their offerings. He also mentions reusing past successes, adapting a hit dish from one place to another. Smart.
Very smart. And the case in point Maurice shares truly exemplifies this. The upscale place took its most popular dishes, created simplified versions for their new casual spot,
Yeah.
immediate success. It appealed both to loyal customers curious about the new venture and to new diners perhaps intimidated by the original's formality. It's a clever way to use existing brand recognition and expand your market. Great example. Finally, we arrive at Maurice's seventh and final tip. Strategic partnerships, a multiplying force. He emphasizes you don't have to go it alone in this complex industry. Thoughtful collaborations can significantly expand your reach and enhance your overall brand image.
And what's paramount in Maurice's view on partnerships is that alignment of values. He argues collaborating with businesses sharing your core principles not only boosts credibility, but also stimulates creativity. It can lead to mutually beneficial outcomes.
All right, finding the right fit.
It's about identifying synergistic relationships that elevate your brand and add value for your customers. So how can you forge these impactful partnerships? Maurice suggests exploring collaborations with experts in complementary fields. Maybe designers for aesthetics, suppliers for exceptional ingredients, specialized pastry chefs.
Lots of possibility.
Yeah. But he also advises being discerning. Choose partners who genuinely understand and respect your unique vision and brand identity. That's key.
Absolutely. The winning partnership example Maurice shares, the restaurant collaborating with a high-end utensil supplier, is perfect by creating bespoke pieces together.
Yeah.
They weren't just getting functional tableware. These custom utensils became tangible symbols of their commitment to quality and excellence, enhancing the whole dining experience and reinforcing their brand story.
Wow, becomes part of the narrative.
Exactly. It's about collaborations that go beyond mere transactions and genuinely enrich your establishment's offerings and reputation.
So bringing it all together, as Maurice so eloquently puts it, achieving lasting success in this demanding world. This isn't just luck, is it?
Not at all.
It's truly a skillful combination, having a clear vision, being willing to take calculated, informed risks, and, crucially, nurturing strong human relationships, both within your team and through strategic alliances.
Absolutely. And for all of you hotel and restaurant owners tuning in, we really hope you'll take some time to consider these 7 key insights from Maurice. Think about how these principles might resonate with your own unique situation and how you can practically apply them, not just to survive, but to truly flourish and become those exceptional gastronomic destinations you aspire to be.
Well said. And on that note, here's a final thought for you to consider. Reflecting on Maurice's emphasis on the foundational role of a strong corporate culture, what is one specific, immediate action you could take, maybe even tomorrow, to better define or reinforce your establishment's core values within your team?
Good question.
It's often those small, intentional steps, isn't it, that pave the way for the most significant and lasting transformations.